In this video, we'll work a couple examples, putting our transformations of sine and cosine together again. So I'm going to write down this function that we're starting off first. So this one just has a lot more going on than our previous two videos. What we're going to do too is that pi over 4 has to be factored out. So it's going to be x minus 1. That's factoring that out. So I'm going to list everything I have. I put it in the right form. A is 3. That's the number out front. That's the amplitude. That's how high it'll go. P is 2 pi over b. So this is going to be 2 pi over 4. The pi's are going to cancel, and then 2 and 4 are going to make the 8 there. All right, and then we have amplitude, we have period. Any shifts? Yeah, it shifts right 1. Right, and I think that's all we have. Yep. So sine function starts on the midline. This does not have a plus d out here. It's plus 0, so the midline still remains the x-axis. It shifts to the right 1, so we're going to start here. I'm going to actually put a point because that's where sine starts, is on the midline. And then I know I got to go all the way over. I need to go 8 units, so I'm going to end here at 9. And it looks like I can split everything up by a few, 2. Yeah, I can break them up again like that. So let's go ahead and graph them. I'll do this in pink. I start here, and then sine goes up. There's not a negative out front, so I do go up, and I'm going to go up 3 units. So it's there. I come back down to the midline. I go down to 3, negative 3, and then back up to the midline. So it looks something like that. For the shaky hand there, it's kind of hard going sideways. So, and this would continue, right? I could take this whole thing and I could duplicate or keep sketching it and make them land there and go on forever in both directions. But that's how we do that. We just got to put it in the right form, move it correct units. It's not too bad. The point here would be to follow these steps, right? Each one, find each thing, and then think about how that affects your graph. Okay, I got one more for this video. All right, we have y equals negative 2 cosine, and I'm going to go ahead and factor out that pi over 2. This becomes x and plus, and I need that to cancel, so it's going to be a 2. And that would leave me with the pi if I were to distribute. Yeah, plus 3. So I made it where if I multiplied back through here, it would give me back to that. Okay, so I'm going to start identifying everything. A is 2. The next thing we need is the period. So that's 2 pi over b. In this case, b would be pi over 2. Pi's are going to cancel, and then the 2's will multiply to get the 4 if I flip them. So the period's 4. This shifts left 2, and then up 3. So the midline has moved, so I'm going to do a dotted line on the midline. So the dotted line would go at 3. There's my midline. Okay. It also moves left 2. So I know it's going to start, if I were to start graphing this, it starts here. Okay, since it's cosine, that means it does not start on the midline. It starts off the midline. So I know I'm going to start below by the amplitude. So I'm going to need to go 2 down from 3. So I know my graph's actually going to start here. Not the little point that I put there. But here. Okay, off the midline. And then I know it's got to go for 4 units. So I know it's here, 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 and then that is where it should start repeating again. The negative does make it go down. That's why I started below the midline and not on the midline. The 3 covers the midline moving up to 3. This left 2, this 2 covers the left. That's why we started at negative 2 instead of 0. And then amplitude will be 2. So we will be going up and down 2 units. Okay, so cosine starts below, then I graph this point, then I go above, then I come back down to the midline, and I start where I stop where I stopped. I stop where I started. There we go. Like that doesn't sound right. Do your best to make it as smooth as possible. There's my function, and if I wanted to repeat it, it's going to duplicate my line as well, but we'll be all right. As long as I put it right on top of each other, it shouldn't matter. There we go. And then I could do this as many times as I need. That midline's really not needed for my graph. It is a good visual to graph. but we don't really need it, right? And I don't need the tick marks. I could take those off as well. Again, like I said in past videos, these will take some practice. I think I remember struggling quite a bit when I was a trig student. You just got to put the time in and maybe work more examples than what's required.